Today, we're going to be going in depth on a step-by-step on how to create Facebook and Instagram ad campaigns for your retailer campaign. So these ads are going to work to be able to drive traffic to your landing page where you present the offer and collect applications from retailers that are ready to carry your physical product brand. Now, if you're just seeing this video and you haven't yet been able to actually see the video that we did on how to set up or kind of a high-level overview of what a retailer campaign is and how you can start taking control and generating new applications of retailers that want to carry your physical product brand, you can look in the description. There should be a link there so you can go back and watch the video so that way you can get a little bit more context on what this ad campaign is going to do. So the great thing is setting up a conversion-based Facebook and Instagram ad campaign to be able to generate applications is one of the easiest campaign types that you can do. So in a second, we're going to jump over on the computer and actually give you the play-by-play on how to set this up. Even if you've never done it before, it's very easy to do. And the great thing is it's pretty low cost. We typically will spend around $500 a month on a retailer campaign and get amazing results, typically around $20 a new application for us. That's a highly qualified retailer that wants to carry our physical product brand. It's got all their details, everything else like that. So again, if this is your first time setting up a Facebook ad campaign or an Instagram ad campaign, or maybe you've got experience in the past, we're going to go over some really cool details that are specific to creating a retailer-based campaign as far as how to do targeting and know that you're really zoning in on going after retailers that own local businesses. So it's a little bit different than what you might do for e-commerce type advertisements, but let's go ahead and jump over to the computer so I can show you exactly how to set this up. All right, so before we actually go in and start building this Facebook and Instagram advertisement out on the platform, I want to give you some kind of high-level things that you need to have before you actually start building your campaign out. Now, this is going to give you a better understanding of who you're talking to, and then also give you the ability to actually create your script that you're going to use for your ad and your video. So the first thing that you want to do is be able to know what we call your ideal retailer and then what your unique selling proposition is. So I'll make sure to include a link to this page down in the description so that way you can go ahead and have this with these links so you can go in and look at these detailed documents. But as far as for number one, knowing your ideal retailer and USP, for that we basically say is that for the process for finding your ideal retailers, you really need to look at who is your ideal customer. And by understanding your ideal customer and what they're purchasing and their behaviors, you can kind of reverse engineer to figure out who your ideal retailer is and where are those people going to be shopping. And I can show you some examples once we jump into the ad that we created and what that looks like. But basically this process will help you identify retailers who would love to carry your product and then the unique selling proposition that's going to actually make your brand stand out to them. So it's not going to be, hey, we're XYZ brand, here's another great product that you should include in your store, right? We don't want to just talk so much about the product itself. But again, it's going to give you a better understanding of who you're going to be speaking to as far as in terms of that retailer and making sure that this really resonates with them. So for the ideal retailers, we want to start again by understanding our ideal customer. So what's your customer demographic, right? What is their age, their gender? What is their price range? Are they buying high-end product? Are they more like discount shoppers? Because there's going to be a big difference from someone who's going to a high-end luxury shop like Saks, Fifth Avenue or something else like that versus someone who's going to be going to Macy's or going to any of these other discount type things. And not that there's a problem with either one, but you have customers who prefer those over others. And then where is your customer typically located, right? And so by this we're going, are they in the southern US? Are they in the southwest US? A majority of our customers are in the southern United States. So this can help us, if we target pretty broad across the US, but if need be, we can definitely zone in more to who we already know our demographic is. So understanding this is going to help you really understand who are these customers going to, who are they purchasing from, and from that we'll be able to see who our retailer is. So what are some of the popular brands that have similar products to yours and they cater to the similar customers that we've identified here, right? So a good way to do this is to use Google search to quickly find those brands who also serve your ideal customers. So popular high-end X brands, right? You can just search this on Google. So for one of the brands, I'm going to go up here. We're looking at being able to do candles. So I want to look up high-end soy candles because that's what ours is. So we can go ahead and see, I mean, this is crazy what some of these candles sell for. But you can get an idea as far as what these brands are, because this is going to be very handy when you're creating these ads, because we're going to use this to be able to do some of the targeting. And you want to try to choose larger brands because we want to have something that has a large interest versus kind of a smaller boutique brand that doesn't really have much of a following yet. We want someone that is, you know, a little bit more popular, has more of a following. So I'm just trying to go in here and see kind of some of the ones that they recommend. I believe they had Diptyque. Right, so Diptyque is an extremely popular high-end candle brand out of Paris. That would be one of the people that we're wanting to target as far as we have a higher price point candle, and we're wanting to find people or retailers who would also carry this high-end candle, because you're not going to have someone who's, you know, Goodwill selling that, right? So just coming back over, being able to find some of those brands. So what we recommend doing is just creating a list in Google Sheets. It's kind of the easiest way to do it with 20 brands. So when you're looking over here, it's like, okay, I've got Diptyque. I'm going to add that to the list. Let's see who else. But you get the idea as far as coming through here, grabbing the names, whatever your search has, so that way you have a document. Because again, not all of these brands are going to appear as far as when we're trying to target them for interest-based targeting if you're just getting started, if you've never done a retail campaign in Facebook and Instagram. So that's part of the reason why we want to get about 20 brands if possible, because some of them might not show up when we're trying to create that audience. And then create your ideal customer profile by using the consistencies between who we serve and then who are they serving. So again, this kind of just helps you zone back in on who these people. For us, it was women 30 to 65 years old in the southern US who buy luxury candles, right? Very specific on who we're targeting. That age range might even be a little bit too spread out. But we can use this to then identify who are our ideal retailers. Again, we're wanting to find retailers who will be selling to women 30 to 65 years old in the southern US who will buy luxury candles. So one of the things we actually found out when we were doing this is that we had a lot of popularity in not necessarily retailer gifting stores, but in like coffee shops and bakeries that sold to the same demographic. So we actually have a cookie shop in our local area that sells out of our candles probably every single week. Something that we didn't know until we started doing this research, and then we came across them, and we're like, wow, this makes a really good connection. But anyway, some of those things you're not going to figure out until you start doing this research. And again, you don't want to think too much into it as of yet, because this will continue to refine itself over a period of time, but it gives you a starting place, so that way you can create that list of similar brands related to, or who would be selling to the same customer that you would, so you can then use this interest targeting for your advertising creation, right? That's really what we want to get out of here. Number two is your unique selling proposition. What's going to, again, separate your brand, or what's going to stand out to retailers that's going to make you different, right? Identify the solution your brand provides retailers at a deeper level than product. You can have a product that solves a customer-facing issue, but how does that benefit the retailer? So, and again, just kind of going, unless you have a huge following or demand for your product already and it's super popular, you really have to make it clear what your brand provides that retailer. Something that's going to help them stand out. So again, the campaign that I'm going to show you, the example, that we have is that we help retailers go from surviving to thriving with experiences. We don't even talk about the product. We talk about how our brand is going to benefit them with our differentiator, which are our experiences. And for you, this might be something completely different. If you don't have something that you can use that's separate from your products, maybe you're a newer brand, then you can use what that differentiator is for your product and really hit home on that. So you can say if you've got an organic face cream that's all natural, and for each purchase you plant a tree in the Amazon, right? Like you're honing in on the fact that you are a natural brand that is all about, giving back to the environment and creating sustainability. So that's something that you can really hit on and say something like, we help retailers positively impact the environment, right? Because you're catering to some, your customer is going to be more natural, earthy type of customer. I don't know if that's a good way to explain it, but that kind of gives you an idea, because then you're telling the retailer that you're helping them cater and get that customer. But again, this USP was created by understanding the brand provides retailers the ability to create experience for their customers that bring them back to buy product. Again, the USP is very foundational to your campaign, because that's what we're going to use when we're creating that messaging to get across to that retailer. So I would just go ahead and again create a list of about 10 to 15 potential retailer unique selling propositions. So it's really just acting as a brain dump, and this just allows you to get the gears going, start getting creative. Again, they don't have to be perfect. It's not like if you do one and you test it and you run a campaign that your business is going to fall apart. You have to test and you have to start seeing what resonates, because you can guess and you can say, hey, I'm creative. I know, XYZ, this is going to be it. This is what they want. And then you might prove yourself wrong once you actually start testing the market. So don't be afraid to write down 10 to 15 different, what you may think would be unique selling propositions about your brand that are benefit to retailers. Because again, this is just going to give you the ability to start creating the possibilities, because you can also come back to this list and change it after you test it again. You can see where I put that right there. So once you have this, once you're able to have your list of brands that sell to your similar customer base, and you can kind of understand who your ideal customer in that demographic is, and you started to write out and getting an understanding of your unique selling proposition and what really is going to separate you on a deeper level than product itself. Again, if you don't have something that you can really think of, what makes your product different? Again, like we were talking about, environmentally good, or a social good type brand. How is that helping the world, right? How can your retailer get behind that and say, hey, I'm a retailer that backs a brand that creates positive change for my community? And that's what you really want to get across. So now that we have that, now that we know who our ideal retailer is and the unique selling proposition that we are going to use in this campaign to really get this across to retailers, we want to move to number 2, which is actually creating your script and video using the outline that I'm going to show you here just in a second. And I want to say that a lot of people get caught up on this, is that they try to think too creatively into it. They don't want to follow the process, and they'll literally not create a campaign because they're too gun shy, I guess you can say, about putting anything out there and just getting something created. So I wanted to make this kind of as foolproof as possible, so that way you can get it out and you can take action, take imperfect action, and then start learning from the data that you're getting back from these ad campaigns. So the first step is actually, again, creating your ad and your landing page video. So the great thing is that the video that we're going to use for our ad is the same video that we're going to put on our landing page that shows our offer and has the opt-in. It's going to be the same. We're not going to change that starting out. We can later, but this allows us to really kill 2 birds with 1 stone. They're the same thing, so that's not, confusing your potential retailer when they're coming over. Again, we want to start out using the same video. And again, as your ad starts to experience fatigue, as you're just showing it over and over, and your click-through rate has really dropped off, you can start planning out a new video. But until then, I wouldn't change it. For us, best video performance is around 45 seconds while you're advertising. And for our videos, I'll show you once we get back out of that kind of how we typically do it, but it's typically face to camera or a voiceover with B-roll footage. So that can either be video or photos that act as that B-roll. Whatever is most convenient to you to be able to create it. Again, we want to get this out as quickly as possible so we can start testing it. So kind of a script outline that we use. You can use this every time. So these 5 points, you can change them out to basically create a new script every single time. Now, I don't typically share this with everybody unless they're a client, but I want to make sure you have everything you need to make this successful. So number one, we want to ask some sort of qualifying question, right? Are you a retailer looking to increase sales or return customers? Are you a retailer who wants to make a profit while making a difference? Right? We want a hook that is going to, we want them to say yes. So of course they want to increase sales and returning customers. Of course, they want to make a profit while making a difference for most. But you want to be able to have a qualifying question that acts as a hook, engages them, gets their attention, and they can say yes, I am that, right? That they're going to start reading more in this ad. Are they tired of X? So we want to try to find a problem that is facing the retailer. So for us, we use the Amazon effect, how everyone's buying online. How do they really stand out? For us, our solution was experiences. Or you can say, are you tired of carrying brands? I didn't spell that right. Carrying brands that make the world a better place, right? So this is kind of where we're talking about our socially good brand. And this could be a problem facing them. They feel like there's not enough purpose for them. They feel like there's not, they're just selling widgets and they're tired of just selling widgets. They want to make a bigger impact, right? So this could be a potential problem facing them. But you want to be able to create or identify some sort of problem or frustration that your brand can help solve, right? And that's where our solution is going to come in the form of our unique selling proposition like we reviewed before. So again, that's why it's so important to identify, number one, our ideal customer so we can identify our ideal retailer to really line this up to know what is a problem or frustration that is affecting that retailer. And it could be that they want to make the world a better place and they're not carrying any brands that currently allow them to do that. So that is where you come in as a solution. Number three, what should they be doing, or why? What they should be doing that your brand helps with. So now you're kind of presenting the solution, or the solution in the form of what they should be doing. You're kind of telling them what they need to be doing, and then you're giving them the solution, which is your brand. So for example, now more than ever, it's important for retailers just like you to partner with brands that allow them to create experiences. Or in 2020, retail shoppers are dying to support stores that carry brands with a purpose. So it's kind of giving them an idea. It's like, hey, are you wanting to do this? Are you tired of this? This is what you need to be doing. They all kind of compound on top of each other. And then number four, how is your brand going to help them get there? So you're kind of reviewing the offer in this stage. You don't want to include a price. So you can say at XYZ brand, we provide retailers with everything they need to create memorable experiences that keep them coming back. All the new XYZ brand retailers receive, and then this is where you start to go into your offer. So if you haven't watched that video yet, go back to the channel, look where we cover how to really create that offer. And this is where you're going to include that in that script. So you're just kind of listing off these things. And I'll show an example of our video to where it goes over that. Again, just another example here. And then number five, your call to action. So all you have to do is simply click the button below or above, fill out the application, and we can get started. So just a very simple call to action. And that's it. You really just need these 5 points that are going to allow you to create an incredible script for your brand, because it hits all the points that you need. And then again, it's going to be the same video that you use for your landing page as you use for your ad. So now jumping back out, we've understood how to create the script and video using this outline. And then the best strategy that we've seen is just a face to camera with the related photo or video B-roll. So it can either be you as the brand owner, it can be someone who is acting as your representative for your brand that can do this, or you can even outsource this to something like Fiverr and Upwork, where they've got people who are they are professional in doing face-to-camera video. Some of the methods that we've seen or that you can use is being able to create just using your iPhone, and then using something like Adobe Rush, which I believe they have a free version and then a paid version, which is $9.99 a month, $9.99 a month. But that allows you to put it together very quickly. So you can record it on your phone. You can, add the B-roll into the images, and you're done. That's probably the quickest way. Or you can create your script and then outsource that. So again, using our outline here to create your script, then you can just outsource that again to someone on Fiverr or Upwork. Tell them to be able to do a voiceover following that script, and then just send them the photos to be able to add in for those sections. So, once you're talking about a certain thing, you can have the B-roll that kind of shows the image of that topic that you're talking about. And again, I'll show you an example of what this looks like. And then number 3, build out your advertisement in Facebook. So I haven't actually completed doing this as far as the little numbered step outs, because this is what we're actually about to go into it, so I can show you step by step. But I'll make sure to include this so that way when you download it, you'll have this as well as the video to be able to follow while you're creating yours. So now that we've done all this legwork, I hope you can see how essential this is before you just jump into Facebook and create something and throw it out there. This is really giving you a foundation. It's a little bit more work, absolutely, but you're going to see the results from putting this in, because you're going to be so much more dialed in to the retailer that you're wanting to have come on board and support your brand, and you support them as a retailer with your brand. So now that we jump over here, I'm going to show you what we did as far as our campaign, and then how to actually set this up yourself. So for us on this one campaign, we only spent about $81, and we run this as traffic. So when we first started out, we first started running this, we ran it as a traffic campaign. Now some people might argue, oh, you just need to run straight for conversions, because that way you're telling Facebook what you really want, yada, yada, yada. When you're starting out, you can test different ones to see what works well for your brand. It might be a different outcome. Again, I hit so hard on, don't assume, test it, and really get those numbers back to kind of test your hypothesis, right? But for us, we found that starting out with a traffic campaign has been the best for us. So coming in, I'll show you kind of some of the different things that we did as far as what the process was. When we first started out, we were just doing the business owner targeting, which I'm going to show you how to set up. And you can see that kind of the way that we do it is we target people who have digital activities that fall in the realm of small business owners, and then that they're also Facebook page admins. So you can see business page admins, community or club page admins, so they have a Facebook group, and then retail page admins. And then here's where we put that interest targeting. So if you don't have a custom audience for a list of retailer emails yet that you can use as a custom audience, then we want to start off with interest targeting when we're doing this. So this is somebody that was related to our brand. Again, that is where we'll do it. So once you have your list of similar brands, this is where you will put that when you're first starting out. So I want to try to show you some of the results as far as, I think, yep, this is it. So once we had this, we were able to create our lookalike audiences. So when we first started running these campaigns that were interest-based, and we started getting those people to opt in on the first page, where our offer is on our landing page where we're sending this traffic to, we were able to then take those emails that were entered and create a custom audience. So we basically export those emails, give them back in the form of a custom audience, and create that on Facebook, and then create just a lookalike audience, 1%, 1 to 2, and 2 to 3. And you can see that when we were first starting it, and these aren't the first results, this was like the second time we actually ran this, and then what the results were when we actually started doing the lookalike audience. So you can see the longer that you run this, the more results that you're going to get. So when we're first starting out, we're wanting to do that interest base so we can see who's going to be the best, and then we can move into actually using those emails to create the custom audience to get even more dialed in. So I know that I said I wanted to go ahead and show you this video just to give you more of a visual. I know everybody learns differently. Let's move over to Facebook post with comments. So I don't know how exactly this is going to sound coming through this. But yeah, you can see we get a ton of interaction on this, and we ran it as traffic. We didn't even run it as engagement. So you can see we're ready to start thriving in retail. It's got a little hook. Running your business comes with a lot of challenges. Creating amazing experiences with an incredible product doesn't need to be one of them. Wow your customers with a Maker Studio and have them wanting to come back again and again. Short and sweet, because we want the video to do a lot of the talking for us. So I'll go ahead and show this so you get an idea.
Are you looking to grow your business and increase your sales? Hi, my name's Amy Howard, and whether you have a boutique retail shop or even a booth, a Maker Studio is the perfect addition for your business. Retail is struggling, but experiences are booming. At a Maker Studio, we guarantee that your business will benefit from our consistent marketing, our loyal fan following, and all of our creative projects. Become a member of our Maker Boss family, and you'll have monthly coaching calls with me. You'll have tons of marketing materials and beautiful video content every week. We're more than a brand. We're more like a family. Come grow with us.
And that's it. So you can see 44 seconds. We've got subtitles in there, and it gets a ton of engagement. It's worked really well. We don't need to change it. We can continue to run this and get a good idea of what it is that we need to change, if we need to change. So this is basically it as far as the overview. So I wanted to go ahead and show you real quick how to piece this together if you're coming in here for the first time. So again, you want to make sure that you've got your pixel set up. If you've got a website, you will need to create a new pixel for your landing pages, basically your funnel, that you can learn. They've got a ton of videos. I'm sure I'll create one as far as how to set that up specifically, but let's go ahead and assume you've got your pixel set up. We're just going to go ahead and create the campaign. We're just going to run it as traffic. Name it for whatever you need for you to remember. Excuse my spelling if it's wrong. And again, you want to make sure to name it something so that way you know what it is. We've got multiple brands on the same ad account, which probably isn't the best, but we'll always put, whatever the brand's initials are in front of it just so we can keep up with it. Daily budget, really run this at whatever. We'll start out doing the CBO, which means that the money is spent evenly across different ad sets. So if you've got different ad creatives and you've got multiple ad sets targeting different interests, which I'll show you here in a second, we do recommend doing. CBO will distribute it among the ones that are performing best. So we typically want to do around $5 a day per interest. So if you've got a budget of $20 a day that you want to spend, then we'll just put that in there as far as if we've got 4 different ad sets that we're going to be creating. So for the first ad set that we have, this can be whatever interest is that you're going after. So again, where we had that list that we've created of our ideal, retailers or customers and then our competitors, we're going to pull that list so we can then use them for this. So I'm just going to say, and completely butcher this, Diptyque. Yeah, that was wrong. There we go. And I'm kind of jumping between brands here, but this is coming back over to the Candle, for example, the Candle brand. So for the custom audience, we're not going to use this yet, but once you've run this campaign for maybe about a week, you've gotten good results, you can come and start creating a custom audience, which will come up here to that website. No, I told you that wrong. Yeah, come to create the custom audience, and then click customer list. And we'll just use one that doesn't include a lifetime value because we're only putting emails. And then once you've downloaded that CSV, you can just go ahead and drag it up here to then create your custom audience, and it'll give you the opportunity to create a lookalike audience once you do this. And we only create 1%, 1% to 2%, and then 2% to 3%. You can do more, but that's all we really recommend doing. And then again, your ideal demographic, we want to use the same as the customer for the retail as far as who we're going after. So for us, we'll just put, I'll go a little bit older, 35 to 65 women, United States, all the same. We're not going to change anything there. For the detailed targeting, let's see if Diptyque's got a large enough brand. So they do. So it's 1 million. So again, Diptyque is a pretty large brand as far as their popularity and kind of the candle scene, but that's not going to be the same for everything. So again, that's why we just recommend having that list that's a little bit longer as far as for you to choose from. So once we have this, we want to go ahead and start adding in kind of our page admins, right? So this way we can make sure that we're going after business owners. So we can do small business owners as a behavior. That's up to you if you want to do that, but it does give you an idea as far as the targeting and who you're going to be going after. I don't know if it narrows it down too much, but if you didn't want to do this, I highly recommend doing the page admins. So there's Facebook page admins. And retail page admins. There you go. And so it gives it 8 million. I want to try to stick between 1 to 2 million just because it's such a huge audience. So I might take the small business owners out of here. And it's 75. So yeah, I might just take out. Yeah, so we'll just have business. Yeah. So this is a pretty good list. And we didn't even include the Facebook groups. Yeah, which is this one right here. Yeah, so that's good. That's a good one right there. So you got business page admins, retail page admins, and community and club page admins. So a majority of these people are going to be business owners, or they're going to be very closely tied to that business owner, somebody who works in their office, maybe even outsourced, but a majority of the time these are going to be business owners. And then they already like Diptyque. So you can see over here on the ad set, we want to create a new ad set for every interest. So this right here, these three things are going to stay the same for each ad set, but this is going to be the only thing that changes, and we're going to do this 4 times because again, we've got a budget of $20 a day. We want to have about $5 per day minimum spent on this interest because really we're initially buying data, right? We're spending this money to see who's the most popular as far as interest wise and what is getting the best results. Don't do expand detailed targeting. Don't worry about connection types. Up to you if you want to save the audience. And then we just do automatic placements across the board for this. And then landing page views. So for the ad name, it's up to you what you want to name it. Again, something that you can remember it. Make sure it's connected to your page for both Facebook and Instagram. Single image or video. And then we're going to add our media. So this is where we just add video, and then we click upload, and you can upload your video from wherever it is that you have it, whether it's your computer or you're doing this from your phone. Your text is where you're just simply going to put in whatever you're having for your text. And again, you can do this from using your script that you come up with. So whatever your script is for your video, you can kind of chop that up to start doing, just making sure you have a hook at the top, and then being able to break it down. We just modeled this after another ad that was run, so I can't remember. I think we went to adspresso.com. We were looking up at some of the most popular ads, and then we basically modeled it from what they had. So my recommendation would be go and see what some of the popular ads are and model it, or you can just use and test different ones from your script that you've got. So your headline, you want to be able to have, this is what's going to catch people's attention. They might scroll back this and see here. We use a font changer to be able to get that bold. I believe it's just, can't remember what it is exactly, lingojam.com, and then you can just type whatever you want. and then you can choose something a little bit different. We always typically switch between these two bolds right here, pretty much what we use all the time. So you can paste your headline in, and then whatever you want is your subdescription. So that's going to be, we didn't include one for this one. And you're not seeing anything over here because we don't have any media or video. So here's where you're going to put your URL for your landing page. Call to action, we just had learn more. When we did our retargeting ad, which we can get into later, just because this video is going so long, we do sign up. But for this one, we're just doing learn more for the initial ones. And then Facebook pixel, you'll choose your pixel that you set up for this application. And then you click confirm, and that's it. Once you've got that set up, because again, that's going to set up with your one ad set, you can always go back. You can click edit, and then you can see right here it's going to show this, like your first initial one. You can come up here to the action menu, just click duplicate, and it's literally going to duplicate. Let me see the options it gives you. Yeah, so you just click duplicate right there, and then you can go say this is the duplicated ad. I'm going to click this ad set right here. I'm going to scroll down, and I'm just going to add the interest. So I'll use this one as a better example. So here I would take out the Annie Sloan and change that with my next interest, and then once I do that, I would just click publish. So that's how you start adding these additional ad sets. Again, if you're doing $20 a day, you create about 4 ad sets, 4 different interests, with about $5 minimum per day. And note, when you're starting to run these, it might not be like it blows up, right? You might not get a huge reaction off the bat, but you are getting data from people that are clicking and going over. I would spend, to be honest, I'd probably spend around $45, $50 before I really started trying to make any changes. So even if I'm not seeing huge results, I want to go ahead and spend about that $50 so that way I'm getting enough data to test, because then I can come back towards this campaign. Let me make sure it's clicked on that one. Right. And then come over here to ad sets, and then I can see which ones are performing best. So if this was the Diptyque, I just say, okay, I'm getting about 16, and say this is another brand, I can be like, wow, okay, this one's really performing. I can kind of cut these off, choose what you want. But the next stage, after you do this and you do the interest-based targeting, say you're getting a good result, you've spent about $50, that's when you want to start creating your custom audiences. So you'll go over, you'll take those emails that you've collected, and then you're going to create new ads simply using the specific targeting for that custom audience. And that's it. You're not going to include anything additional. But I don't want to get into that right now. We'll create another video. I just want to make sure you've got what you need to start. But that's it. And I'll make sure to fill out the rest of this as far as what that walkthrough is and some things to remember. But go ahead, look in the link in the description, get this so you can have everything you need to start creating this. This is all free. I want to make sure that you're successful as a physical product brand, being able to get other people, other retailers that are passionate about getting your message out. So that way your brand and you can make a difference. But that's it. That's really everything you need to know to be able to start creating your Facebook and Instagram advertising campaigns for your retailer campaign. All right, so now that you know what to do, this is your turn to go and take action. This is literally the step-by-step, everything you need to know to be able to create your Facebook or Instagram ad campaign, to be able to bring new retailers and get new retail applications for your physical product brand. I'm going to include any of the links I had discussed into the description. If I didn't, I'll make sure to be able to post it here shortly, so make sure to look. And again, if you haven't watched the high-level overview of how to actually create this retailer campaign, that link should also be in the description as well, because in that video I actually give you the template, so that way you kind of cut a learning curve on being able to just upload your images and content to the template, and everything's already there for you. So it saves you a ton of time and money and being able to cut that learning curve. So again, that link is in the description as well. I hope this was educational. I hope now that you've got the tools and the knowledge that you need to be able to start executing this campaign, that you can get started. And if you've got any questions, or if you're curious about some of the results, or if things are really working, make sure to be able to send us a message, and so we can be able to help you navigate that if that's something that you need. So be on the lookout for new videos. If you haven't already, make sure to subscribe, turn on notifications, because again, we're going to be going over and producing a lot of new content specifically catered towards being able to get new retailers and setting up that process so you don't have to rely on third-party marketplaces, giving up fees and commissions, all of that stuff, so you can do this yourself and start generating new retailers for your physical product brand. So if you're starting to look about scaling these ads, we'll have a video later on how to be able to take the data that we've got from starting out, if you're fresh to running these campaigns, and then being able to give that information back to Facebook to create even more targeted campaigns. So I'll make sure to create a video showing you a live walkthrough of us transitioning into that stage probably in the next couple weeks, but we should have some more videos before then as well. So again, make sure to subscribe, turn on notifications, and leave a comment. Are you experienced in running retailer campaigns? Have you used other sources to be able to generate retailers for your brand? Let us know in the comments. Look forward to producing more soon. Look forward to seeing y'all soon. Till next time.